Hello, this is Ms. Milka, psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, and I wanted to discuss today about causes of depression. And we can ask ourselves this question: what is depression? And depression is a complex mental health condition that is very common in our society today, and it can be influenced by a variety of biological, uh, psychological, environmental, and social factors. And today I just want to discuss about biological factors that contribute to depression. I will not be going into discussing about other factors, but I'll only discuss about biological factors. And when I talk about biological factors, I'm talking about things like genetics. So we research suggests that genetics play a role in um, one susceptibility of developing depression. We've seen that people with a history of depression may be more with family history of depression are more prone to experiencing depression themselves. I've also looked at a book here that is called Psychiatric Mental Health Nurse Practitioner Review and Resource Menu that says that having a depressed parent is the single strongest predictor of depression. Children of depressed parents are 3 times more likely to experience depression in their families, in their lifetimes, than the general population, and have a 40% chance of having a depressive episode before the age of 18. And it also says that the earlier the age of onset of depression and the more severe the symptoms, the more likely it is that a person has a strong genetic predisposition for depression. So we can see that there is a genetic factor that contributes to the development of depression. Another factor that we're going to be talking about is neurotransmitter imbalance, and these are chemicals that we have in the brain, and imbalances of chemicals like serotonin, norepinephrine, or dopamine contribute to development of depression because these chemicals play a crucial part in regulating mood, emotions, and motivation. We also have hormonal changes. That's another biological factor. We've seen fluctuation in hormone levels, especially in women, can contribute to depression, and we see these hormonal um, changes which occur during menstrual cycle, pregnancy, postpartum period, and menopause, which increase the vulnerability to depressive symptoms. So we've seen women have what we call PMS during their menstrual cycle. We see women experiencing postpartum depression and also having depressed moods during menopause. So we can see hormonal changes contribute to the development of depression. Another thing that we'll talk about is nutritional deficiency. These are a biological factor. Uh, we've seen that in cases where there is deficiency in certain vitamins and minerals, examples of vitamins would be vitamin B12, vitamin B6, vitamin D, omega 3 fatty acids. We've seen that deficiencies in these minerals and vitamins are associated with increased risk of developing depression. So, adequate nutrition is essential for maintaining optimal brain function. We've also seen that sleep disorders, this is people with insomnia and things like sleep apnea, this can contribute to the worsening of depressive symptoms. So, disruptions in sleep patterns can affect mood regulation and overall well being. And probably you have experienced If you don't get enough sleep, the next day you wake up with a irritable mood. Another factor, biological factor that we'll discuss is chronic illness and pain. So we've seen that individuals who are living with chronic medical conditions like kidney disease, cardiac diseases, diabetes, uh, or experiencing chronic pain, maybe back pain, they're at a higher risk of developing depression. And this can be because of the burden of managing a long term illness, which can contribute to psychological distress, leading to depression. We also have neuroendocrine abnormalities. So if there is abnormalities in the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, uh, which usually regulates stress level, the the body's response to stress is associated with the depression. So dysregulation of cortisol, which is a hormone that is usually produced if somebody is going through stress, we call it a stress hormone, is usually observed in individuals with depression. Um, Another thing that we'll talk about is structural and functional brain differences, and people with depression may exhibit structural and functional differences in certain brain regions compared to those without depression. Dysregulation, the difference can impact mood regulation, emotional processing, and cognitive functions. So those are the biological factors that I wanted to talk about. And there is one that I left behind about thyroid. Sometimes when we have people with what we call hypothyroidism, when their thyroid is not producing enough thyroid hormone, we see that they might exhibit symptoms of depression. So there is a there that is the those are the biological factors that contribute to depression. And it's essential that we remember that while these biological factors that I've mentioned influence the development of depression, they often interact with other factors, including psychological factors, social and environmental factors. And a comprehensive understanding of depression requires, you know, considering the interplay between all these factors so that one can be able to tailor treatment approaches accordingly. Um, if you find this video helpful, please share it with somebody that might benefit from listening to this video. At the same time, um, you can subscribe to my channel, and I'll be covering the other factors that contribute to depression in other videos. Uh, Thank you so much for joining me. I would also encourage you, if you're going through depression or you know somebody who is depression, it's very important to seek professional help. Professional help. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.